Hi, my name is Chen. I did this gender identity symposium in China, and I will just start with the background and why I did this project. So about a few years ago, I started to curate exhibitions with artists from China, and I started to see female artists that are born after the 80s producing some very interesting work that is touching on feminism or femininity, and in a way that they don't realize the theory or the social issues behind it. So when I was talking to them, they was like, this is a very just innate kind of response that I put it on the canvas or something. And I asked them, so what do you guys think of gender issues or sexuality? And they're very vague about it. And I think about 2 years ago, I met a professor and their intern from another university, and they work very much on gender issues out of their comparing literature department in the Sanying University. And then I started to get very interested in what they do, not necessarily the artist. And they were the first group to introduce vagina monologue to China, and then got banned immediately. So I started to have this idea to bring this group of students and professor together with the artists who are working on the work and in the same city that don't know each other. So Center for Art and Public Life, give this opportunity, so I took the money and go to Guangzhou to do a symposium. And the idea was just bring them together to know each other and present, their work. But it turned out to be more jam-packed than I thought, and I'm going to talk about them later. But the symposium was done, in a vigorous way, where when they see each other's work, and then they got sort of encouraged. And now this is actually not only the poster, but also it's becoming a book as we speak. I think right now they're in printing production as well. So this is actually the real book, so I used the book to be my presentation. The picture over there, they were at the symposium, and it was a 3-day. The first day was preparation, because once I hit the ground, I realized the organization of the South China Women Artists Collective was very loose. They're not necessarily organized to do things, and they're very, very limited on resource. But the Sanying University was more organized, and they have campus, and they have rooms, and so we end up actually partnering with them instead. So the first day is a preparation, and I just wanted to see whether they have presentation skills, and luckily they did that, because most of the artists actually don't know how to present their work, and they just show the working papers and everything. So we put them into PowerPoint and then do a whole rehearsal actually ending up. And then it was also through this process I realized that it's actually not just about female artists, it's actually about gender, because that's what the Sanying University is about, gender equality and a rise of the LGBT community, which is very new in China. So later on, we're going to see a performance artist who is probably one of the few open day artists in Guangzhou, and give us the presentation of his work. So I want to talk a little bit about the Sanying University Gender Education Forum. The thing they do, they don't realize it was art, it was actually social intervention. So for example, the picture we're seeing right now is called Love, Beauty, No Hurt. This is called the flash ad that they perform in the Guangzhou subway, where they planned it first in campus, and then they dash into the 4 subway stations, and then to perform in front of the plastic surgery advertisement board, and started to do different kind of performance and track the audience, and then tell them what they're doing. And then they have the reporters and all planned over there. And the first station, the security guard did not even have the time to react, and then they left, because they do it in a flash way, so it's very quick. And then gradually escalated, and by the 3rd and 4th station, the police come, and then the teacher was actually taken away. And they were just very puzzled by this act of why the US actually even have a slogan for something like anti-plastic surgery. And then the next one is something that they do annually, is on doing the flag in the campus. And they invent some very interesting slogans to attract the attention while putting that to the suburban area, actually around the college town. And then we started to have the artists coming in to talk about their work. And previously, remember that these two groups do not really talk. So this is the artist actually doing a female genealogy research project when the Chinese government are demolishing the villages. They wanted to not only recover the history of the village, but actually the female side of the story of the village. So this is how they're doing the interviews and showing the outcome of the project. The other partner that was TUCOM that was introduced by the Gender Education Forum was called Associated Gay Less Campus. And they actually do some very interesting things. I think the whole group was started by a group of gay men, but then it gradually expanded to include not just the gay community, but also the non-gay community. And they have some very smart tactics, including, for example, drawing classes, graffiti, doing it at the midnight, so they don't need to get caught by the security guard. And it was very interesting to see how they use visual to talk about their story. And this is all kind of happening simultaneously while the artist was creating their own work. This is the artist who did the performance, and he was the open gay dancer that I talked about earlier. He was trained in Hong Kong, and once he went through that training, he realized that he can actually do this on his own, because then he would not have the restraint from the corporation or the professional groups. So all this time he operates alone, and then do his performance not just on the stage, but also in the alleyways and in campus. So these are some of the shots. And these were the artists that I initially wanted to work with, but then she ended up bringing a lot more different artists to this symposium that I did not know about, which turned out to be a really good thing. On the left, it says, every part of my body is accusing you, and it's talk about her traumatized experience in the past. And this one is by another artist doing a fake identity of a migrant female worker that was gone missing. So these are just some of the artwork that we chose and presented by the artist. In the afternoon, this is also suggested by the Gender Identity Symposium. We got into a very heated debate on gender equality in the corporate environment. We talked about a case study that was just recently closed about an owner of a very profitable training corporation raped all, I wouldn't say all, but quite a few female employees in the corporation, but the corporation itself is not liable because there's no such law. So this person, who is also the owner of the corporation right now, is being on trial. I don't think it ended yet, but I think the first trial was done. So that was my presentation.